We had some fun with the FC at a reunion in Taupo. Since then it hasn't quite been happy. Starting to bog down really low, which suggests the spark plugs need to be changed. But obviously I'm new to all this, so it could be anything. But we'll start with the plugs, and figured while we're at it we'll give it a service. But quite keen to swap the plugs out first and see if that makes a difference. So we've still got our entrant number on, not quite sure what I'm going to do with that, but might take it off and try to preserve it and keep it somewhere. Alright, so as you can see we've already given this a go and failed. Hopefully you can see this, but something I learnt is that you need a special socket to get over the spark plug. There's a lip on the block which prevents mainstream sockets from being used. So you need to either get a hold of a motorbike service kit which has the small spark plug, or do what we did and make your own, and we'll soon find out if that works. What are you doing, you retard? Hey. What are you doing? So what we ended up doing was finding the thinnest walled socket we could and just grinding it back to hopefully be thin enough to get it over, so we'll find out if that works. Alright, moment of truth. No, that's not doing it. Far out, what a bitch. Fail. Alright, well that wasn't thin enough. Never mind. Thanks anyway, Shane, but I think we're going to need to get a proper one. Thankfully we don't need to spend any money because we found one in Blair's RX7.
That's what Corey needs! You need that?
Oh!
Oh my god!
Now I'll be the first to admit that I don't know much about these, which is partly why we got it, to learn as we go. But you've got trailing and leading plugs, and each plug has got a different part number. So I'm not exactly sure which is which yet, but we'll find out as we pull them out. Also chasing a water leak, and I've got a feeling it's we'll get a new one on there and see how that goes. So I think we'll give the radiator a flush, give it a new cap, and see if we've got any leaks. Right, so after some consideration and consultation with the lads, figured I'd pull the radiator out. We'll chuck a new one in there. It's a little bit beaten up anyway. This is the first time I've actually done any real work on the car since I brought it home. So I'm yet to figure out the ideal jack situation. I don't have any of my low ramps yet, so I'm trying to use the garage lip to get some height. But the jacking point's too far back. So I figured I've probably got enough space anyway, so I'll try to do it as is. It doesn't seem to be anything in the way, so we should be fine. So I'm just going to start by removing the intake here. Got a 10mm bolt here and a 10mm bolt over here, which is handy. dry, crunchy wheat bix. Oops. Well, sorry about that. We got the pipe off. So I got this off, it's a little bit corroded. That's probably why it was hard to get off. And this is hard and crunchy, which I think's from the sediment inside as opposed to the condition of the hose. There's no... I'll get it off and have a better look. Hope the camera does not fall again. Back to an 8. Let's go up to my inspection bench. Can't see shit. Hopefully you can see that. I can't. Last one. It's a big fat boy down the bottom. Okay, should just be 4 more bolts, 2 on each side, 12mm. Oops. Sorry about that again. Alright, here she is. Doesn't actually look that bad, to be honest. Some efficiency gains to be had with the fan and some shrouding, but otherwise it's not too bad. We'll get it pressure tested all the same, but I've got a feeling that this is actually okay. I'm not doing myself any favours with regards to overheating when A, I've got a rotary engine, B, it's turbocharged, and C, look at all the crap air's got to get through to actually hit the radiator. I've got a small intercooler at the front, oil cooler down there, and then the radiator. So I don't know if this is factory or not, but it makes sense. But it could probably do with some ducting or something to help guide the airflow a bit better. I might pay to check that it actually works as well. Yeah, this oil cooler's seen better days. So it's another day. Today's mission is to finish this off. Number 1 is spark plugs. I've got a tool from Blair from his RX7 that we're going to try. Looks to be about the right size. And we'll see what we can do about the radiator situation. It looks all good, tests came back okay, so I'll chuck it back in there. Also got a hand controller from Shane that we can use to monitor the temperatures. It's a bit of a relic from the past, but that's what happens when you run a Microtech ECU. But I'll do the trick for now. Unfortunately, this tool here, which is the one I got from Blair, does not work. The nut on the spark plugs is actually too big for it, so we're not out by much. I don't want to wait another few days for another tool, so I think we'll just try tapping them out with a screwdriver. So the visitor stopping by for a hello, and we ended up doing work on the car. What a cat. Jason's trying the old screwdriver and hammer trick, which has worked on 2 of them so far. We did end up shattering one of them though with the vice grips. That's right, it's coming out anyway. So the old plugs are the same ones that they're running in their 7. And it's a racing plug, and apparently these burn out pretty quick. It looks like it's well used, so we'll chuck the new ones in, which I think more of a factory spec, which will be good for the factory spec engine, and you'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's all 4 plugs out, all 4 plugs put back in, leads connected. It was actually much easier than I thought with the old screwdriver technique, so cheers Jason for doing that. But as you can see, The screwdriver technique does leave some scarring behind, but that's okay. I'm not going to reuse these plugs anyway. The new plugs are actually longer than the old, so I didn't have to do anything drastic. So as you can see with the spacing of the new plugs, it allows me to get a spanner over them without having to go drastic with fancy tools. So they're in, and we'll give the car a clean up. I don't want that porcelain to hang around, so we'll clean her up and carry on. And one thing to note with the spark plugs is I've bought two different part numbers. So these ones were the top spark plugs for trailing, and the 7 EQs were lower, or leading. And there she goes. Alright, she's all back together. Pretty straightforward, reverse of what you saw earlier. It took approximately 2 bourbons to get to this point, which makes me feel like going for a test drive's not the smartest idea, so I'll top up the coolant and leave the test drive for tomorrow. So good news, my old 180SX radiator cap fits on this. It's only 0.9 bar, but again, doesn't really mean much where I'm putting it. I don't know if it will last very long because I'm not sure I'm super keen on having a Nissan logo on a Mazda. Right, coolant wise, I'm running a 50-50 blend of antifreeze and crusty milk particle filled water. Distilled, of course. About 6 litres down, can't be too much more left. Alright, we seem to have found our limit. Possibly 700 mils through this. There might still be a miss there, I'm not quite sure yet, but one of those leads was quite hard to connect. Now I'm just bleeding the coolant system, trying to get all the air out of there. RPM issues seem to be alright. Last time I tried doing this, it would almost stall. off. But just driving around, 92, 90 if I'm driving like a nana. Yeah, definitely need more work in the cooling department. I'm just sitting here with it back down to 90. You see it's dropped back down to 90 just sitting here. I could be reading this tool wrong, but no idea what the 33 degrees C means.